Hear my true life story and my dad's true love life. I woke up at the middle of the night and I heard my mom and my dad exchanging words. Mom's voice was louder. Dad spoke in a very low tone. He spoke pleadingly. I didn't hear much of what they were saying. Maybe I did, but I don't remember now. I was young, 10 or 11. Our room was a chamber and hall. We slept in a hall, my sister and I. I remember looking at my sister's face and wondering why she would sleep through the whole noise. I couldn't sleep, even when their voices went down. I was still in bed thinking of the reason why my mom and my dad would wake up at the middle of the night and be fighting. Is it about money? I asked, because a day before that night, I was sent home from school because of unpaid fees. My mind wandered until I slept again. I woke up the next morning to a very quiet room. I never woke up myself. When I was younger, it was either my mom or my dad slapping my chin and waking me up to start my day. But that day, nobody woke me up until I woke myself. Something is wrong. I remember thinking to myself. My little sister was still sleeping soundly next to me. I got up, went to the door, and I knocked firmly. There was no answer. I knocked again, this time very hard. There was no response. I knocked and called my father's name, still no answer. Or are they not inside? I opened the door and saw my dad seated at the edge of the bed, his cheek resting in his left palm. He was sitting still motionless. When I went in, he turned and looked at me, then slowly turned away. I asked, "Dad, where is mom?" He didn't answer. I asked again, "Dad, why is mom not here?" I wanted to hear something like she's gone out or she's gone to the market, but my dad sat there silently, indifferent to my presence. I stopped talking and I sat on the floor. Several minutes later, he said, "Your mom is gone again. Maybe she might not come back this time. From today on, you are going to take care of your sister. I will try my best for you too, but you will have to take more responsibilities now that your mother is gone again." Again, because that wasn't the first time my mom left us. When she left the first time, I was too little to notice, but I felt her presence. Dad did everything mom used to do, and I vaguely remember the thing he would tell me whenever I asked about my mother. He said, "She traveled to get you new shoes. I am here for you until she comes." I didn't know how long she was gone, but one morning I woke up and she was home with us. Life continued as if she had never left. We were whole again. The car no longer tripped to one side. We were balanced. The second time she left, I was a little older, so I saw most of what happened in her absence. Dad would wake up every morning and heat the food we would take to school. We never took money to school because Dad couldn't afford it. We would eat something in the morning and put the rest of the food in a bowl to take to school. When we ask, "Why didn't you give us money?" he will say something like, "The food they sell in school is of low quality. If you eat that every day, you won't grow up to become important somebody in life." When mom was around, we would return from school to help her in the kitchen. When it was just us and dad, we would return from school and start studying again at home. Dad would be at the shop selling machetes and other farming material. I had the keys. I would open the door, help my sister change into her home clothes, drink water because there was no food, then start helping her with her homework. Our TV went to the repair shop and never came home. One day, two men in overall entered our house, and by the time they left, our electricity was cut off. We slept in darkness that night. The next day, Dad came home with a lantern. I asked, "Is the light not coming back?" He said, "We had the moon outside. I have bought a lantern for inside. What do we need light for?" From that day, from that day on, we gathered around the lantern each night to do our homework. When friends tease us that our electricity has been disconnected, I told them no need for light when there is bigger light in the sky. I was confident, though lacking. Nobody could bring my shoulder down. The day I completed JSS, the whole class hit the street in jubilation, drinking and running through the town. I went home very late. I abandoned my sister. I had the keys in my pocket while running around. So when my sister got home, she had to stand at the gate until my dad comes home to open the door for her. That was the first time my dad hit me. He screamed at me and called me stupid. He said, no matter what happened, you don't abandon your sister, you fool. What if something had happened to her? The day I was leaving for SS, my dad took my keys and gave them to my sister. He said, you are on your own until he comes back for vacation. When I got to boarding school in SS, my sister was the first person I wrote a letter to. She wrote back, that girl has the most beautiful handwriting I have ever seen. She didn't just write, she drew the alphabet, ensuring each letter was polished with care. One day she wrote, guess what? Mom came back all of a sudden. Dad is laughing again. I think he's happy, but the bad news is she's sick. She looked frail. All is not well with her. I remember throwing the letter in the air and dancing in our dormitory. Yes, she came back sick, but once again the family would be whole. We wouldn't wounded on one foot. The skull was no longer tipped for one side. We were balanced, a whole family again. When school vacated, I rushed home. She was in a bed when I arrived. I threw myself at her and I hugged her tightly. She said weakly, you are a man now, my son. I said, I am happy to see you. What my sister said was true. Dad was sparkling. His shoulder had strengthened again. The wrinkle on his brow were gone. He was lively he was lively like a kid with his favorite toy. The last vacation before I completed school, I came home and saw my mother deteriorating. Her skin was peeling. Her lips were dry. She was bedridden throughout my vacation. The day I was leaving for school, my dad said, if you had anything to tell your mother, say it now. It will be too late by the time you come home again for vacation. I understood what he meant. I cried and I told my sister, don't leave her side. I will pray for her. It was August 11, 2000, when I received a letter from my sister. I remember it was a Friday. The letter was short and straight to the point. Mom died this morning. Dad has been crying all day. I don't know what to do. The house is flooded with family and strangers. But Dad has locked himself in a room, crying. If you can, please come home. I need a man. I jumped into the next bus going to town. I got home around 10 p.m. Dad opened his door and saw me. He had stopped crying, he said. No need to cry. She has suffered enough. This is the best rest she will ever get from her suffering. Let that console us. I tried to be the man my sister needed, but I couldn't hold it in. I cried whenever I was alone. The family was no longer whole. We were going to wobble on one foot. The scar has tripped to one side, this time forever. Dad's shoulder slumped again. The wrinkle returned, bringing other wrinkled friends to make him look older than he was, but he shouldered on. The market business declined, so he took up farming himself. I completed university, got a job, made some money, and traveled abroad. I sent money home so my sister could also go to university and graduate. She married one of the senior lecturers and later moved with him to New Zealand. Dad was alone, so we got him a woman to take care of him. He later fell in love with her and married her at the age of 63. The woman was 57 with 6 grown children. I came home 3 months ago to see him. There is something about love that makes him sparkle. He looked better than I expected. One evening, we were talking about our childhood struggle when I remembered the question that had plagued me since I was a child. I asked him, so where did Mom usually go when she left us? I was young, but I remember she was gone for so long before coming back. Where did she go? He took a sip of green tea he was having then. It's not good to talk about the dead. They are no longer alive to defend their story. I wanted to die with our story, but I guess it's time I told you. My mom married a man her family didn't like, so they disowned her. She was pregnant when her family pushed her out of the house to be with that man. Unfortunately, the man disappeared. That was when my dad met my mom and fell in love with her. She was 6 months pregnant when I found her. I have never seen a pregnant woman as beautiful as your mother, he said. He took my mom in and cared for her until she gave to birth. Unfortunately, the child died 2 weeks later, and a year after I was born. 3 years later, my sister was born. The first time my mom disappeared, she left with her first husband. She had traveled for a funeral when she found him again. When she returned, she packed her things and left without telling my dad. He found out a year later. He traveled to where she was to plead with her to come back for our sake. My mom didn't return until that man disappeared again. I asked my dad, and you took her back? Why will you do such a thing? He said. I needed her for your sake. That was the excuse I used to accept her back. But deep down, I was never whole again after she left. I asked, and the second time, I remember waking up at the middle of the night, hearing you two arguing. He began narrating. I woke up that midnight and I saw your mom packing cloth into bag. She was doing it sneakingly, so I got up and I asked where she was going. She said she was folding her cloth, but I know she was lying. I asked if it was about her first husband again, and she said yes. Then that was when the argument started. She said I have never loved her, that I was only keeping her around because of you kids. I called her a liar and I told her I would love her since that day I met her pregnant. That didn't stop her. She packed her things and left. Her last words were, "You will never see me again." At this point, I was boiling with anger. I said, "Dad," and she came back sick and you still took her in? I am not good at moving on, I guess. I always used you kids as an excuse, but deep down I wanted her more than I wanted you. I don't know why she didn't see that. The day she returned, she was so thin that I didn't even recognize her until she said her name. That moment I had it, my defense shattered. I know she was sick. I know she came back because she trusted I was the only one who could care for her. It was that trust that made me take her in. I wanted to heal her to prove a point. I wanted her to get well so I could look her into her eyes and said, I am your healer, but you wouldn't stay to be healed. That's why I broke down when she died. It felt like I had failed. I signed heavily. I was exhausted on his behalf. I asked him, what about this one? Do you love her that much? He said, 6 kids from different 3 men who never stayed. She also needed healing. Too bad the healer himself is sick. At this point, we are healing each other. We will be fine. My sister is still angry with our mom since I told her the story. She wants to erase all memories of her. I don't know about me, but what I have isn't hatred. Instead of hating her, I have decided to learn what is meant to love a woman from my father. He is 72 years old now. I don't know how long he has left, but however it ends, I will forever be indebted to him. This one lesson his life has taught me. So this is my story and my dad's love story. Please, if you love this story, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your notification bell so whenever I post a new story, you will be the first to be notified. See you guys in my next video. Bye bye.